Okay guys, I'm gonna see if I can put this on. It's not gonna be super easy because it's on a vertical surface. We'll see how it flies. Smear it around. Notice one thing when you open this, there's a little smaller tab and a real small hole punched in this, so it makes it almost like a squirter. This smells good. Okay, that looks good. And we'll go do the other side and we'll come back and let it sit for a while and see. This has probably been about 20 minutes. While I let this set, I just put a second coat on it about after 20 minutes. And this number 8 here is real grungy and stuck on, so I'm just leaving this wet cloth that's got the goo gone on it. Let it sit there. It does seem like it is, even after 20 minutes of just the first application, I just put a second coat on. Let's see. It does appear like it's just going to let me rub that stuff away. So I went ahead with the second coat. While I was letting the first coat set, I came through and greased the hoist. Looks like this thing's probably never been greased. I hit all my points. Everything took grease easily. The one thing I don't really like about this bed is it doesn't have a safety leg with it. And again, never trust hydraulics. Blown hose or something, this thing could come down pretty quick. So I do have I've got a 2x4 in there. Yeah, it's not the recommended way to do it, but I recommend anybody working on a hoist like this, up underneath it, you put something there. I'm confident in the 2x4 because I actually can hold the pendant in one hand. I held the 2x4 in place, and I actually started putting down pressure on the 2x4. So right now all the load is off the hoist. It's all resting on that 2x4 for the most part. So good and sturdy. And then the hoist is acting as a backup because it still can hold pressure. So whenever you're working on this big heavy stuff, try to be safe. I've got 2 more points to grease at the back. I'm gonna go ahead and lift this up, set the hoist down, grease the back while I wait for this goo gone to sit here and do its magic again. So catch back up here in a second.
the button. I hear a solenoid clicking, but my motor's not kicking in for some reason. My last 2 points degrees are right here at the back. I'll reset up.
Okay guys, greasing's pretty straightforward. These back 2 pins didn't want to take any grease, so I heated the other one and got good results. It was able to take it. I might heat this one and see if it'll take grease. Haven't put any heat on it yet, so you're seeing it for the first time as I am. I tend not to show every second of menial little tasks, because I'd have hours and hours of video of this menial stuff. Maybe people want to see that, I don't know. If you do, leave a comment, I guess. The reason you heat up grease zerks to get them to try and take grease is sometimes grease will dry out and get hard, and it'll block these zerks. You won't be able to shove it through. Even though a grease gun puts out about 10,000 psi, I think, it just can't push through that hard grease. So you heat the zerk, it re-liquefies that grease, because it's just a petroleum product anyway, so it'll re-liquefy or soften up, and then it'll take grease usually. If they won't, then you got to replace the zerks, and then sometimes you got to pull the pin and clean junk out of the bushings. I kind of doubt there's any bushings left in this back assembly here, but it looks pretty sloppy. And I can tell when the bed's up and I drive, I can feel it rock around a good bit. I'm not worried about the pin breaking. There's still plenty of pin material there. You can tell these are real big pins because it's off such a big truck. It's such a big truck bed off an F700. It was designed for really high loads. The pins are real big diameter. I'm sure they've got a wear groove in them probably though. But no more than I can move this little truck, I'm not going to break them. Alright, enough chatting. Let's see if this thing will take grease. And the reason I let the goo gone sit for so long is as soon as I went to grease this thing, I ran out of grease. It's about the way it usually goes. I don't think it's going to take it. Oh, there it goes. It broke. Now she's taking it. It took a hard push, but it finally cleared out. Tell these things haven't been greased in a long time. That job's done. Go check on the goo gone. Okay, this is after the second application. It's coming off pretty easy. There's some real thick places. I use one of those adhesive, those rubber wheels to take most of this decaling off. And it worked pretty well, it just did not want to get some of this real gummy adhesive. And I'm not sure I'd recommend using a scraper like this on a new truck, but this is a 20-year-old truck, so I'm not super worried about it. It's already got some pretty bad scratches and rust marks in it, so it's going to need some touch-up paint anyways. If I gouge the paint and a little more touch-up, not the end of the world. Big key, I need to get a bunch of this heavy stuff off and then reapply. Even some of the decal left right there. If you don't want to use a scraper like this, you can use like a de-icer, a plastic de-icer scraper for your windows. Those actually work pretty well. I ruined my last one. I used it on part of this decal work, my hair dryer, to heat the decal and make it softer, easier to remove, and actually heated up the ice scraper so much the edge of it deformed and got to work with the screws. But they do work pretty well. Actually, I have to go pick up another one next time I'm out. So I've never tried Goo Gone before. This is my first attempt with it. And it does seem to work pretty well. It really softened up this thick stuff. It would not come off this easy before. I'm sure there's people, if they watch this video, they'll be cringing with the scraper on the side of this paint. I'm going to keep scraping and I'll touch back in here shortly. So there's the result after 2 soakings of Goo Gone for probably 20 minutes the first time and 10 minutes the second time. And then we'll see how this number 8 comes off. It was just set up where you can see it. It was a good bit more aggravating. I mean, it was a decal to where just the adhesive underneath it was really stuck on. I used the decal remover wheel to get all these decals off. It just didn't like to do much with the adhesive. And this stuff was basically unscrapable before the Goo Gone. A little bit of decal left. You guys up. And there's a body line right here you got to be real careful with, because this scraper will dig in and cut that. can see there's still adhesive there. It picks up the dirt off the rag pretty well. And this is the soaked one with all the goo gone on it. It's not bad. Let that soak a little more and it'll all wipe away. Okay, so there's still a little bit of adhesive left here. So I just can't seem to get off with the goo gone. I don't have a good scraper, really. If you really get a clean rag and really dig in, it'll pull it off, push it off. My finger actually works halfway decent if you really throw the elbow grease at it. But this is what I did to take the original decals off. They call it they call it a decal removal wheel, I think. So I'm gonna use it. It seems to be doing pretty good at taking this little stuff off and finish off with this. The main reason I didn't do this when the glue was real thick is because it would grab the wheel and it was running the wheel all over the place and just more smearing those big globs of glue. Clean this. That's the real reason I didn't finish off with this. There's just so much adhesive in certain places it didn't want to work. So. Pull the camera off. And those are chips and dings in the paint there, but as you can see, it cleaned up pretty nice. I just lost focus. Now, for whatever reason, I didn't have to do that with this 8 right here. That 8 there rubbed right away. This one over here, I probably can goo gone it one more time and it'll go away. And this side, the Goo Gone did real good. So it wasn't as heavy or thick over here though either. So I'll finish up that 8 and call it a day. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe for more to come.